Pacific Islanders are known for our generosity, our humility, and our ability to find laughter in even our most serious moments. But behind our strength, many of our families are quietly struggling. Join us for a conversation about food insecurity, the challenge of accepting help, and how SoCal PICRT met our people where they are, with respect, love, and support. You'll hear from Mel and Ubu, two leaders deeply rooted in our community, and together we'll unpack the invisible weight so many of us carry.
And action.
Okay. Wait, should I look at the camera or should I look?
Hey, talofa y'all. It's your Tama Upumoni Ama,
Hi, my name is Melody Satellen.
and I'm with SoCal PICRT. I serve as a community resource navigator. Yeah, I'm a proud member of SoCal PICRT, and I love just being in the community, passing out resources.
I work with SoCal PICRT, the Southern California Pacific Islander Community Response Team. I've worked with SoCal for about 2.5 years now as the Environmental Justice Community Organizer.
I'm Samoan. I was born in American Samoa in the village of Falingu. My parents brought me and my siblings down here in the late 60s. We migrated to the city of Compton, California, and pretty much been here all my life.
I am Samoan. I was born and raised in San Bernardino, so out in the Inland Empire, and I've gotten to do a lot of work with the NHPI communities in the IE as well as here in Los Angeles.
Man, what I love about our people is God first, family, and service. Those three practices or traditions been embedded in our community or in our culture for hundreds of generations. So I feel it's naturally in us.
Being part of the Pacific Islander community, I think a lot of our values really align with us wanting to do right by others and to just take care of our families and our loved ones too. And that's always something that I was raised with, is being able to give back and to serve. And sometimes it can be hard for us to do that for ourselves, but I know that that's something that I have embodied in doing this work and have tried to prioritize by working with the community as well.
Yeah, so I noticed when I was growing up, it was almost a culture thing, like being prideful, not to ask for help, or I don't know where that come from, like, because here in America it's based on, capitalism.
I think one of the things that I noticed that is different from how my parents were raised is that, yeah, here it's very individualistic and you're always trying to look out for yourself and like you just need to do and work as hard as you can to provide for your family, but sometimes that's not always enough to put food on the table. And I do agree that it is also like a pride thing where we don't want to ask for help because sometimes it can feel like we're burdening others, or like, why am I going to put this work on someone else to go get food for my family or bring money into my family when I can do it myself too. But that's a cultural thing that I think we learned when we came to America, and just feeling like we have to do everything ourselves, which is not always the way that we have existed as a community. Like, we have always been people that share amongst ourselves. We always want to share with our families, but I think it does get a little complicated being here in the US and having to add on a whole other culture on top of our own values too.
That's a great point, because some of the food banks that I volunteer at, one in Compton and one in Norwalk, the one in Compton is every Thursday from 9 to 12. Right there at 700 Laurel Street, Compton, California, and the other one is in Norwalk every other Thursday. But I want to bring up the one in Compton. It's historically that's been where the Samoan community has resided at, right there in Park Village, well, now known as Jasmine Garden. But that's where that food or giveaway is at every Thursday, and rarely Samoan families are passed by in their trucks and their cars, and we'd be like, hey, pull over, come get some food and vegetables, some produce. I mean, who couldn't use that? And we could see inside the car they have small kids with them, but they'll be like, oh no, we're okay, thank you guys, thank you, and just keep going. Also, I think within our culture is that being protectors, always being in that position of being protectors. I could see how trying to ask for help would almost seem like it would diminish that role. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's something that I've definitely seen from a lot of our interactions with the community too. Like, back in December, we attended the Christmas in Carson event, and it's an event that we attend every year in the city of Carson that focuses on giving out gifts to kids, just to make sure they have gifts for the family and so forth. And I remember one instance with one of the families, we were trying to give them some of our giveaways and to give them like some of our gift cards that they could use to buy food for their family for the holidays. But there was one family, and actually a couple of them too, that were like, no, we don't want to take it right now, we'll just wait and like let other families take it first and just kind of see like if there's anything left, then we'll take it for ourselves. I think that's something that is always ingrained into us as people, is like we always want to make sure that everyone is taken care of first, and we don't always think about ourselves in that conversation too, and we'll always give to others, but then we don't see ourselves as people that also need that kind of care too. So it's different working with SoCal PICRT too, because we're in a position to be able to give to our community members, but there are times where they don't want to receive it because they feel like there's other people who might need it more than them. But a lot of times, like, we all need the resources, and our role has definitely been to just share it as widely as we can, and to, you know, assure our community too that every family that was there at that event too deserves to have access to food and to take care of their families, especially during the holidays.
That's so great that SoCal PICRT and other organizations here in Southern California for the Pacific Islander community, so they'll have somewhere to go ask for help. Like, I think if they have say like going back to what we talking about, our people have problem asking for help, but they don't have that problem with the churches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like there's certain institutions or there's certain organizations that they won't have problem going to ask for that help. So I think that's key to what we do here at SoCal PICRT. Is we're almost like that institute where they can come ask for help.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good conversation to have. Like, how can we break down that stigma or change the narrative on, you know, just asking or receiving help from others?
Yeah.
Especially here in Southern California, in LA County, the main consensus based around food insecurity is just the cost of living, you know, to where families always saying we have to prioritize, and a lot of times food should be at the top of the priority list, but however, they got to keep the lights on. They have to pay their car insurance in order to drive the car to and from work, and all these other components that comes in. And one thing I have, when we was doing the gift card giveaway, and I was driving around the city, issuing them out to folks that had signed up for them, almost as if we was answers to their prayer. The feedback I was getting from, like, man, thank you guys. God bless your heart. You know, without you guys, this week we didn't know how we was gonna put food on the table, and especially it's trying during the holiday season. I think that's where it kind of stands out more for our people.
I do think that food insecurity is something that our community will continue to experience, unfortunately. I think it's partially built into the way that our society works, with like what you were mentioning earlier about capitalism and people having to constantly work and so forth. Like, I think food insecurity is something that's always going to impact, especially Black and brown communities. We're always the most impacted by these kinds of issues with food, housing, etc. But one of the things that gives me hope for the future is that we see a lot of these events that are continuing to happen. Like, we did our gift card distribution. Upu was also mentioning that there's food banks that happen in Norwalk and Compton very frequently. The Inland Empire, some of the organizations out there did a food drive for Thanksgiving too, being able to give out cultural foods. I don't know that I could say that food insecurity is something that we won't ever experience. I think it's an issue that's a lot larger than us, that has to do with the economy and a lot of the politics that go on. I am hopeful because there's a lot of resources that we've been able to organize around and to take advantage of, because we know that this is an ongoing issue in our community. We're going to continue to take advantage of the funding and seek out the right people to be able to provide food for our communities.
You know, the reality is, like, there's still a lot of families that's in our community that's living below the poverty line, and where food is not available. So it was an eye opener for me. That man, I take that for granted. Like, I don't even, like, food is my least worry today, but man, I think about the families that I interact with or engage with in the community, and that's not the case with them. They're like struggling, trying to put food on the table week after week.
At the time that we were planning this distribution, we had gotten a lot of feedback from our community that food security is something that we struggle with. And I think out of a lot of the issues that we support or try to help with, I think food security is one that is just so taboo a lot of times. It's really hard to ask for help around food. It's something that's culturally important to us, but at the same time, we struggle with being able to share that need with other community members. We know that the holidays are a super important time for us to get together, to just be with our loved ones.
Yeah, and I think also too that the more we see organizations like SoCal PICRT, Folk Movement, Young Samoa, Island Grad, there's like a plethora of organizations today. I think us as community leaders can have that conversation around that. Like, how can we have more organizations get around food insecurity and specifically focus or hone in on that, where families do have a reliable source of providing food for their family.
For us at SoCal PICRT, we feel like that's something that we could help address, is the need for food during the holidays when people are supposed to just be in community with each other. It's not supposed to be a stressful time, but it ends up being super stressful with a lot of things that are going on. So we ended up applying to a grant with LA County to see if we can apply for money to get food for a lot of our community members. And in applying for the grant, we were able to get it, and then we started setting up our process for how to let people know that we have these resources to give to them as well.
And I think the gift card was a nice touch to it, because had we just put together, say like the Thanksgiving giveaway, where it came with a box of food or baskets of food, that's where we get the most like hesitant from our people. No, we're okay. But with a gift card, be like $200 gift card, they'd be like, shoot, let me get that. Nah, just kidding. Christmas in Carson by the Tut Foundation. Man, that's a nice holiday treat for our community. It's right there in the city of Carson. Carson's like the hub for LA Samoan or Pacific Islander community. Big shout out to 5555 for hosting that every year. It's well received by the community. Me, my kids, my family are also, we go there, get gifts, be entertained, let the kids run around and enjoy themselves. But when SoCal PICRT, when we did our food card giveaway, also we was able to give away to the community some resources, particularly with food insecurity. And then also we was able to add little knickknacks in there, but the highlight or the main actor in the gift basket was the cans of pisupo, or the cans of corned beef. That definitely was a crowd favorite. The line got longer and longer once they knew corned beef was being passed out from the SoCal PICRT tent. And then also too, I love that personal touch where each gift card was handed from a member from SoCal PICRT to the hand of the community member who was picking up the gift card and resources. What I want families to take away is that you guys are not in this alone. There's help out there, organizations out there that's ready to help. There's fundings out there to help, take the cheat off of the food insecurities.
Yeah. Part of the planning process was that we were trying to identify who we could send the gift cards to or give the gift cards to. So one of the approaches that we took was that we reached out within our staff and within our coalition to ask if anyone wants to ask within their families, like if they know people who could benefit from having the gift cards. So that was one piece of it, was doing it internally, like taking advantage of our own network to be able to share this within our coalition of like 19 or so NHPI orgs. And then we also wanted to spread it out to people who might not be directly connected to SoCal PICRT. We also put out a call on social media too, to share it out and say like this is something that's completely open to anybody in the community who might be experiencing food insecurity. So we opened that up to lots of people across Los Angeles County and just kind of assess where the need was and how many people are in each family. Like, are there specific areas that have higher concentrations of need around food security? We were kind of taking these different approaches to, of course, take care of our coalition and then also folks who might not be connected to community spaces too, and to just be as intentional as possible as we can with reaching and sharing these resources out to the community.
Well, first off, got to give it up to the planning crew, who was mindful of not sending it via mail or electronic gift card. And they did decide to form a team to get these gift cards out to our community personally from us. I think our community members appreciated it more. It was like a home visit, like a well-in checking this also. Like, how y'all been doing? The conversation was so, it was like we were trying to talk around the food issue, but just, like a wellness check. How they doing? Are they enjoying the holiday season? Once the food card was exchanged, like from hand to hand, I found that more family or community members began to open up because then they were going through the, oh, thank you guys so much, because now it's in their hand and they're like, oh, thank you so much. You know, they get to share. A lot of them was open to share how this was much needed, you know, this week, and so how much help we were to them. We were like answer to their prayers for that holiday season. So just for me, it was priceless, you know, just to be out there, to show up for our community and for them to see our faces as well. You know, so once again, shout out to the organizing and the planning of this event, a food card giveaway for last year. For me personally, going back, a lot of those addresses, a lot of those families was from my neck of the woods. And just to go back to the old neighborhood, to the old city, it was just, you know, it was a community that I once took so much from. And here it is, some 30, 40 years later, I'm coming back, you know, just to break bread with the community, you know, in a good way.
The hand-to-hand delivery is really cool too, because a lot of these people we had never met before too. So it's like you're kind of just showing up and like they're receiving something from a stranger, but having the one-on-one interactions gives them like a chance to get to know our org in SoCal PICRT, why we're doing this work. And then even with like the food banks, like we'll tell people, but they don't always show up. And part of it too, I think, is the trust aspect. When they get to know us more and they do see that we have good intentions of really just sharing resources with them, I think that makes it more likely too for them to want to come out and to take advantage of the resources, regardless of where they come from or who they are, and so forth too. So I think the trust and building that trust with each community member, I think it can happen a lot more when we're doing one-on-ones.
Yeah, I love that, being there in person to deliver the food gift card, as well as being there in person to disseminate the resources that we have. Because a lot of them heard about the food bank in Compton and as well as Norwalk, but me reiterating it to them is almost like a reminder. And oh yeah, I heard about that, but I never go. Well, you know, now since I've made those personal deliveries with the food gift cards, I see some of those faces that show up at the food bank. So it's good to see that they're using the resources. But yeah, you guys be mindful, sign up for our newsletter. That way you guys get the latest update on how you can get these resources.
For community work, I think a lot of the work that we do is always on the ground, and a lot of it comes from those one-on-one interactions. So even if we were to just help one person, we're still making an impact on that person. But with this, and it might not be the largest food giveaway that exists, but it's something that we've been able to help tons of families across Southern California. I think for us, this was something that we felt really centered our community, because we were able to be on the ground with them and to meet with them and to get to know them and to understand what their families are experiencing. And that impact, I don't think, is something that you can really take away from or compare to other forms of support for our community. And as small as it might have been, it was just one example of the kind of work that we've done and something that we're going to continue to do and to build upon each year. And our hope too is that we can do this every year and to make it even bigger, to support even more families and to be able to give out more funds to our community too. But the important part is that we're on the ground and that we're doing the work and being there with our people, as opposed to saying like we reach tens of thousands of people, which I don't think accurately speaks to the impact that we have in our work.
To go back on the importance of the food gift card giveaways is, although it's a small gesture to some, like $100 or $200 gift card, like, man, you can't get that nothing in today's market. You know, you got to remember that there's families that, you know, would love to have a $25 gift card. So to them, what may be small gesture in our eyes, what I realize is, man, it was just the feedback that I got. It was a huge gesture to the families that received these food gift cards. You know, it was by no means a small gesture to them. I think after watching this video, families in the community can understand and realize that there is help available and resources out here for us. We just have to be willing to accept them and to go be resourceful.
Our hope, is that we can be able to do this work without the stigma, and that you all can share this with your own families and friends, and that we'll continue to be a resource as much as we can moving forward too.
So you can definitely go on SoCal PICRT Facebook and follow us there, or on Instagram and on YouTube to get all the updates and latest resources that we have available. So in addition to my role here at SoCal PICRT, I also double back as the program director for the FO movement. And for those of you that know, we're in collaboration with Project Respect, where we do food giveaway every other Thursday in the city of Norwalk. So you guys be sure to follow the FO movement page on Facebook and Instagram to get all the latest updates and the flyers to that event. Remember, it's every other Thursday in Norwalk, California. Then also, if you're around the Compton area, there's a food bank every Thursday. We call it Thanks for Thursday, and they have food, produce, and grocery giveaway every Thursday. You can also follow us or go to the West Coast Line, and you can find more information if you follow West Coast Line on Facebook and Instagram, where they have all their flyers and updates to that food bank giveaway. Nailed it. Bam.
I'm like, I'm also losing
She's on
my
the
train
roll,
of
y'all.
thought.
She's on the roll. Oh, our next food bank
You've been out
coming to a Tongan community near
That's
you.
crazy.
Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on Earth. So don't get behind on those payments, y'all. Be of service.
Yep. You said that. Yep. Yep. That part. Rhythm. Dang, we should have asked if we could do a TikTok and just do like a 20-second TikTok. It's like a dance and it's like below for resources. Yeah.
For more high fives, stay tuned. The path to leadership is through service. Boom. SoCal PICRT.
Yeah.
Follow and subscribe, y'all. Let's go. Bingo.
Dude, I was getting ready for the high five.